Welcome to my second episode of Q Anonymous. Today I have a special guest, Yukiho.
Hi, guys.
Would you like to introduce yourself with a fact?
Oh, a fact?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to start off like this.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, I'm a senior at Medfield High School.
That is not a fact. What?
Well, like a fun fact?
I go to high school. That's not... Yeah, like a fun fact. You got it.
I have double jointed fingers and elbows.
Oh my God. I do too,
Yeah.
actually. Like my fingers like do that.
Yeah, like they
my
do the
God.
thing.
It's weird,
Yeah.
isn't it? Okay. Anyways, we're not talking about double jointed fingers today.
Yeah.
Even though that would be kind of funny.
That would
if
be
we did a full
funny.
podcast on that.
Yeah.
In my last episode, we talked about a Patreon. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
And we were going to talk about techno music. Another episode of the
Ooh.
Patreon could, like, people would have to pay for it, but they'd have to talk
I
about
see, yeah.
Knuckles. But we could talk about it.
Okay.
You could get the profits
Yeah,
because we'd make a lot of money.
totally.
I think a lot of people want to listen to that.
Yeah.
Us talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, today we're going to talk about two different types of music that I don't listen to. And that's why I wanted to talk about them so bad, because I don't have a chance to like think about them. So we're going to be talking about, first of all, we're going to be talking about classical music, then get into Japanese music. Yukiho,
Yes.
other than me, like I feel like, well, maybe I think this about myself,
Yeah.
but I see you all the time listening to music,
Right.
like consistently.
Yes.
More than probably anybody else.
Yeah.
Which is funny because anytime I say your name in a class or something, you always are like available. So I'm like, oh, so she's lit, so like she can hear me.
Yeah.
I get scared if I have my headphones in
Right.
and like I can't listen to other people.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it's a skill that you have that I don't have.
Oh.
And that's another reason why I wanted you on, because you must listen to a lot of things, especially these two types of music that I don't listen to. that
Oh,
often.
yeah.
How much music do you think you listen to?
Oh, my God. Like a lot.
Like in a day? How many,
Oh, like how many
like minutes, hours?
hours? Like
We can
hours.
go hours.
Like,
How many?
I don't know, like 6, like a school day of
man.
hours.
That's so many. I mean, like, I think that sometimes if I had the choice, I would,
Yeah.
maybe. But I might get bored. I don't know.
Right. I'm just like constantly listening to
I know.
music.
And it's like awesome.
yeah.
Because I feel like people don't like care.
Yeah.
And it's irritating to me. Because I'm like, oh my God, there's so much you could listen to. And people are just like,
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Like there's so much more than like I feel like people listen to.
yeah, there's more than like, I'm sorry to shame because I do this like, I'm going to do this every podcast, but like shaming people's music taste. But like when people listen to like the top 10 and that's it.
Yeah.
And like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like what we're going to get into, like, I think it's a lot more like a little interesting to talk about
Right.
and to like look at, because like
Yeah.
I can do research about like Ariana Grande,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd rather like talk about like literally your list of Japanese artists that I
Oh,
got
yeah.
over text. It's a little bit more cool to me,
Yeah.
but we can start talking about it now than just prefacing it.
Cool.
Let's start with classical music.
Okay.
Out of all the music you listen to, how much do you think is classical?
Lately I haven't been listening to it as much.
Okay.
But I think I just go through like phases of like rotating what type of music I listen to.
Okay.
So I feel like over the summer, like last summer, I listened to quite a lot, but it's not like this, like in a certain day I listen to
Okay.
this amount of classical
Okay.
music.
A big question I had, because again, I don't listen to it,
Mhm.
but why do you listen to classical music? Like, was there an influence, or did you just decide that that's what you were going to do?
There was an influence, and it's
Okay.
actually a really funny story because I wrote this down in my
Oh man.
notes.
Okay. I want to know.
So when I was like really little, like when you're like a toddler, there's like this TV program that my parents like put on for me to watch. Like we bought a bunch of like, there's like a whole series, and they bought a bunch of DVDs of this program, and it's called Baby Einsteins, not Little Einsteins, not to be confused with Little Einstein.
Okay. I'm going to look up what you mean.
Perfect.
Baby Einstein.
And it's basically like a show for toddlers, and they have I mean each like DVD is different, but they have like a couple that are like based around classical music, and most
Okay.
of them in general like have classical music put in them regardless of whether or not they're like based on classical music. But I think there's one called like Baby Mozart or like Baby Bach or something like that, and I got exposed to like a lot of classical music through that series. And so I feel like when I heard classical music as I was growing up, I would be like, oh, I noticed that. That's like a familiar tune to me. And I found it kind of interesting. And I don't know, it's just like classical music in general has been kind of something that's been familiar to me. And so I guess, you know, now I just listen to a lot of it because I think it's cool.
I looked up Baby Einstein and it came up with Baby Mozart.
Yeah.
And it aired season 4, episode 4.
Uh-huh.
And the description is kind of funny. It says, the beautiful music of Mozart, which has been proven to have positive effects on people of all ages, is played in child-friendly arrangements with images and brightly colored toys and shapes in the background.
Yes.
And I look it up, and this is what I get.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what
They're
it
puppets?
looked like. Well, so
because that is something else.
a lot of the time they would put like puppets in it so that like it's like kid friendly. But like they also had like stimulation, like this toy with like the penguins climbing up of it, and they would like go down the slide, and it's just like that over and over. Or like it's like bright colors that are just like there's like this spaceship.
I feel like I missed out because like this is fun.
That was literally my entire childhood, is like watching that. And my mom told me, she was like, you would watch those so intensely and seriously that I thought it was really funny. And I was like,
yeah, because now like they have I mean, was it Disney? Because now it's Disney. Disney
Is it
owns
Disney?
Baby Mozart. Or not Baby Mozart. Baby Mozart's dead. Baby Einstein, sorry. Baby Einstein, it says Disney. And they have DVDs and YouTube
Disney.
videos. Yeah, and there's a lot of like bears.
Yeah. There's a lot of animals.
Oh.
I think that's a new one because I don't think I.
Yeah, it looks a little new.
Yeah.
He's a bear. I think Mozart's a blue bear.
Yeah.
I don't understand what that is.
And there was another one that was like, I think it was like Baby Galileo. You know?
Man.
And it had like it was kangaroos. Like those were the main characters of that one, and it was so adorable.
So I don't think that I was exposed to any music as a kid. I in my last episode too, we talked about like how people end up listening to music.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't have a huge influence on it, what I listened to.
I feel like
not really, and I think that's everyone else.
You know, like I feel like a lot of my music taste is like based on what my parents listen to, because like my dad listened to like the Beatles. Like when I like in kindergarten, he'd take me to school, and so like when we were getting ready, he'd just like put on Beatles radio, and every morning I would listen to the Beatles.
Yeah. And I feel like I guess maybe my parents just don't listen. I mean, I know that my dad listens to like some older bands. Like, I know he's a big U2 fan, but like he didn't listen to it enough. Well, actually, I guess this is a big fat lie, because my dad would consistently listen to sports radio. So I actually listen to sports radio.
I see.
Like some Felger and Maz.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know if a lot of people know what those, like a lot of their like sports radio is, but I will listen to it.
Yeah.
And so my dad doesn't drive me around anymore because I have my license,
right.
But my brother will listen to sports radio. So if he drives me, we'll listen to sports radio in silence. Like we'll like be like interactive, like, and like you can call in, like a few times we've like called just for fun, and they don't answer.
That's
and I'm
funny.
like, wait, I wanted to answer the question. I wanted to be on the air. So now I have my own podcast, so I just do it myself. Another thing that like quickly that I thought was good too about classical music as a genre is that a lot of the like most famous names that I have that I looked up that you gave me, and we can talk about them too.
Sure.
They're all from different places. Like everyone, like there's French, Austria, or I mean French composers, people from Austria, German composers. Like there's no like Polish, like there's nothing like specific.
Exactly.
Which is funny because like if you try to look up music now from different places, it's very different.
That's true.
But they're all as famous as they are. I mean, there's ones like Mozart's going to be a little bit more famous than some, and like Beethoven and whatever, but they're all from different places, like in Europe, obviously.
Yeah.
But do you think there's a difference?
I mean, I think now, like, certainly like music from different countries, like I feel like they all have a different kind of vibe, but like I mean, I think you can, like, if you like studied classical music, I mean, I'm no like I haven't really like studied it, but
you can say you can.
I
lie.
I haven't.
Lie.
But,
but you know so much.
I know a little, yeah.
All of it. You know everything.
But I feel like people who've studied it might be able to like tell more of a difference between like the regional aspects of the composers. But I think in general it's kind of, especially because classical music, I mean, besides opera, is like all instrumental.
Yeah.
It's like, it's more of just like a feeling rather than just like languages or like countries.
Okay, so do you have a favorite composer?
That is a difficult question, but so I think that Chopin is the best piano composer.
Okay.
I think just musically his piano pieces like move me the most. I think for orchestrations, I think I like Tchaikovsky, and I think a lot of people are familiar with Tchaikovsky because he did the Nutcracker ballet soundtrack and also like Swan Lake. That was both Tchaikovsky.
For the Nutcracker, so I'm looking these two up, Swan Lake and the Nutcracker, and I have had to sit through, but now I think I'd say that I really do love, I go to the Nutcracker every once in a while during like Christmas time. Have you ever done that?
I have.
So especially like some of the music in that, because it's like so much just like watching, and there's not a lot you can else do than to just sit there and watch,
right?
And I think it's nice that you get to have a second where you can just like listen a little more. I don't know, I think you kind of need it. There's some breaks in there where like you're just like, oh my god, this is so long. But I don't feel that way with the Nutcracker most of the time. I have a few times, and probably because they were bad performances of it. Like they were not really what I was there for.
I mean, the one I went to was like the Boston Ballet, so it was
like
no, my friend was in the Boston Ballet, so we went to go watch it. So that was really cool.
How old was she?
I think she's only like a couple years older than me. She graduated, but she like had to quit ballet because like apparently her like body stature wasn't fit to be a ballerina.
I did dance for like 2 years of my life.
Ooh.
Just kidding. I did it for like 4 or 5. I was very young. So I have no real knowledge of it, but I do know that like, man, I wouldn't want to do that. Like that is so, I mean, first of all, like you can't, I mean, I've gone to see the Rockettes 100 times. And like the thing is I've actually had a tour at Radio City Music Hall, which was so awesome. Wow. I recommend it for anybody. I think it's great. And they like show you around, and it's a Rockette that shows you around, so it's kind of like fun, and it's like a little interactive. And then we like watched like the Rockettes like summer show after. But just like overall, like you can't be, I think it was 5'10" or above, or like there is like height limits, so it's not even up to you sometimes. And if you look out of place, see ya. Too tall, see ya. It's like dance weird, obviously, see ya. Like when I was looking up some of these composers, they look so funny.
They do look really funny.
The hair, the wigs, the outfits. I mean, like, man.
I mean, a lot of them did live like a while ago.
Oh, I know, and that's why it was like a little refreshing to look up.
Because
I've been looking up like 2010s artists and people who I already know what they look like, and I'm looking up these people and like the fashion sense is out of this world. Like I'm like, man, and no one's even get to really see them because they're just behind the music. They're not out there doing it really. If people were to listen to classical music, it would be to like study or to have as like background music. Do you study with classical music? Sometimes. Do you think it's helpful to study with music? Oh my god, that's my stat project right now. Really? Yeah. Oh man, what is it? That's what I'm doing in stat. The stat project. I'm doing like, is music, listening to music in the background like helpful to focus while studying? What are you finding out about that? I don't know, I just started. Well, what are your thoughts? I think it does. What do you listen to when you study? Well, what type of studying? Because math studying is different
That's what I've heard from people, is that like
Yeah.
it depends what they're studying.
Yeah.
You know?
So like if you were to like sit down and can you write or read and listen to music?
Yes.
What can you listen to?
Like anything. I
Anything?
just put on whatever I've been listening to.
I used to think I could.
Yeah.
Because I would sit in math class freshman year and listen to music.
Right.
Or I'd listen to sports radio. Or I'd listen to a podcast. Like I was very good about that.
Yeah.
And it helped me. But I think math is a bit of a mindless activity. Once you get into math, like once you have something you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
it's kind of just, you're like a machine.
Right.
You're just doing it and doing it and doing it. So it's easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like if I have to study, I could never do that while studying like flashcards or
Right.
like Quizlet or something like that. But if I have to write a paper, the only thing I can listen to is Bon Iver.
Oh.
I can only listen. I'm gonna have an episode where I talk about Bon Iver, but every episode before I'm gonna talk about him. And I say that to anybody who listens to this podcast, because I'm gonna talk about him every goddamn time.
Yeah, I see you
I
post
love
about
him
a lot on your Instagram
because
story.
he's like, I love him. Well, he's not a him. It's a band.
Yeah.
I love Justin Vernon. I can only sit there and listen to him most of the time.
Right.
If I have to write something or like actively do something.
Mm-hmm.
I've never listened to classical music while doing it, but I feel like it would be a similar experience
Yeah.
because no words.
Exactly.
The words are hard. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to like sit and do something and focus and think if
Right.
you're like also thinking about words, even if you don't think you are.
Yeah.
It's like a mind, like you get like fogged with like the words you're listening to and like you're not even trying to.
Yeah.
It's just happening.
Exactly.
And that's why I feel like a lot of people would gravitate towards classical music.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I gravitate towards Bon Iver, because I don't know what he's saying.
Okay.
I can't understand. He's an English speaker.
Oh.
He's from the United States and he's like
I just can't
a white man.
understand.
He sings in a way that you don't know.
Oh, I see.
You have no idea. And it's weird because I've never listened to someone in that way, but I have no idea what he says half the time. And then you look at his lyrics and you're like, oh, that's so nice. But you're really not thinking because it's a lot of sounds. It's like a lot of
Right.
like hard sounds and like craziness.
Yeah.
Which I feel like also happens sometimes with classical music.
Yeah, no, I feel like people think classical music is boring.
But I actually disagree. And from someone who doesn't listen, I still think that it's not boring.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not boring. So when like if people were to think something about classical music, like the one thing I wouldn't want them to think is that it's boring.
Is that like your tagline of this episode?
Probably.
Classical music is
It's
not boring.
because I
I don't
like
think it is.
when people like find out or like I tell them I listen to classical music, they're like, "Oh, like oh, why do you listen to classical music?"
Yeah,
And
but
I'm
like the
'Cause it's
same person who
fun."
says that, like, put your rap music away. Like, no,
Exactly.
because that's boring.
No, that is boring.
Because it's the same thing.
Exactly.
I feel like classical music has a little bit more of like ups and downs.
Oh yeah, there's like I mean, like in one piece there can be like variation, but like I feel like a bunch of different pieces, like they're
Yeah.
all like different, especially because
Yeah.
like their composers are from different places, and like you know, like it's just there's a lot of variety that I feel like people don't pay attention to because they only listen to like probably the same thing over and over.
Right.
I would like to talk about Canon in D because it's if you ever heard like Pachelbel's Canon, it's like it's a wedding song.
Wait,
You've
I'm looking
definitely
it up.
heard of it before because it's literally the most overplayed classical music piece I've heard in my
What's it
entire life.
called?
Canon in D. And I don't hate it, but it's the fact that it's like it's played so much, and I wish that other pieces could get played instead of Canon in D sometimes because it's just a lot.
I definitely have. Yeah, because there's so many searches about it. And
It's like a wedding song. It's like
yeah. We're
It's-
gonna play that in the podcast in the post
yeah.
production.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear
Oh
it.
wait, actually don't play it because it gets played too much.
I shouldn't play it. What should I
Play
play
it.
instead?
Oh my
Rap music.
I mean, I said before I like Chopin, but I think my favorite classical piece of all time is Ballade No. 1 by Chopin, and it's just
Okay.
it's so beautiful.
let me ask you one more question about classical music, and we'll move to Japanese music. I'm making like a playlist. I'm making a playlist.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to know what would be like. I don't know if you have 6. Do you? That you would want to have people have exposure to.
Sure.
Like have people.
I can absolutely choose 6.
Okay.
Right now, I don't know.
Okay. You can think about it.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Okay.
I mean, definitely Ballad number 1. I feel like people should listen to that.
Just because I feel like people don't. There's like if you don't start by listening to it, you're never gonna. And I don't want it to be like a scary thing. Like I feel like it could be something that people could listen to.
Yeah.
Especially me. Like I feel like I could and I don't just because it's not familiar to me.
And I feel like part of the issue is that when people listen to classical music, it's always like the same pieces, and it's just like there's other ones out there that you could listen to. Yeah.
And I just think that if there's a way to do it, it would be having our special guest Yukiho telling us her favorite ones, because they're not going to be overplayed probably, because you're not going to want that.
Yeah.
We're not going to have Canon and D with us.
Oh, God, yeah. Sorry.
We're not going to add that in the playlist.
People that like Canon and
wedding
D, but
song?
I feel like...
Ew.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know that people have Justin Bieber as their wedding song?
Oh.
Like that like country song with... What's your thoughts on country music? That isn't what this episode's about, but...
I don't like to like slander a specific genre because like I know I can, but I feel like when I listen to music and I choose songs that I like, it's just like I like to listen to something, and then if it's good or like I like it, then I put it on the playlist. I don't like to just like kind of like exile this one specific genre because
I do.
Okay. But like, you know, it's just something that like I feel like would make me like close-minded, and like I just,
you know what, that's a good point,
would rather have an open mind about like all the genres, even if I don't particularly like one as much as the others.
I was in Marshall's the other day and I did catch myself humming, or no, I was whistling to a country song.
Yeah. And
I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, this isn't me.
My dad used to be in a country band.
Your dad?
Yeah. Both my parents used to be in bands, and
Wait, and we're like just talking about this now?
I was gonna mention it earlier and then I never got the chance to.
Yeah, well, thank you. Sorry. Wait, so your dad was in a country band?
According to my mom, it was like a country band, but I feel like they also played other things, but like his was definitely more recent. I think they like played in my basement or something. And then my mom was in a band in college, and she was the lead singer.
Really?
Yes.
So your mom was like a singer?
Yeah.
Did your dad sing, or was he just instruments?
My dad plays guitar,
but
I think he also sang.
Okay. Do you play guitar?
I don't play guitar.
I wish I played guitar.
I also wish I played guitar. I really want to learn how to play bass guitar. I think that's so fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
And like people who play it look so cool.
Yeah.
And also, if I could start my own band, that'd be fun. And it'd be like part of my podcast. What would you play in my band?
I would play the bass guitar.
Oh, right. Okay.
Were you at Honors Writing Summer the other day?
No.
Because apparently I also wasn't there, but Anna told me that the prompt was, if you were in a band, what instrument would you play?
I missed that. I literally
missed that too, and I was so upset. I was like, I would definitely be the bass guitarist, and there's no argument against that.
I mean, like, I want to be a main part of I'd love to be the drummer, but the drummers are always like expendable. No, but sometimes they are, like, because so many people hate on Ringo. I love Ringo. I did too, and I was with 2 friends yesterday and they were hating on Ringo. No. And I don't really listen to the Beatles, but like, don't hate on the guy with the coolest name.
Yeah. Ringo Starr, what the heck? That's such a cool name. Who plays
the goddamn drums? You're gonna get mad at him?
Yeah, what?
For what? What did he do?
He has some of like the best drum fills, like most recognizable drum, like
they beats. Were full on hating on him.
Oh my god. I'm so upset.
Lily and Lucy. They're gonna also be on this podcast, but maybe they shouldn't, because they're hating on someone who I don't even know why you would. Yeah. I think I recently went to a concert, and the drummer, he was drinking wine out of like a wine glass. Like he was literally like, yep, regular wine glass, drinking wine. And I'm like, man, you know what's up. Like, he also looked like he might have been on drugs. I'm not sure. He had some missing teeth. His hair was really messy. But I'm like, he was awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's, I think, another thing for another time. But live music and, oh my God, like classical music, like live.
Oh my God. I haven't gotten the opportunity to go to like a classical concert, but me and my mom were like, we have to go at some point. Yeah.
You probably do.
I really have to.
Because I can only imagine. Have you ever been to a concert?
I've been to one concert in my entire life, and
what was it? Oh man, what was it?
It was the Taylor Swift Reputation tour.
No, you went to Reputation. You went to Rep
because listen, because it was the summer, and my friend's friend's dad was a police officer, and they got like free tickets, and they were selling those tickets for cheaper, and so they were like, "Oh, do you want to come watch the Taylor Swift concert?" And I'd never been to a concert before, so I was like, "Why not?" They were good seats right too. I wish I'd go to more concerts.
I love her.
Yeah.
I would marry Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And everyone went to Rep. My sister went to Rep.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
They weren't even fans. They were like, no, I'll go. I have the opportunity. I could hear Rep from my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I live close enough. I live on the Norfolk border, so like I could hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't go because I wasn't a Swiftie back then.
I see.
And now I like would die to do that.
Uh-huh.
And like Loverfest, like she has like 3 albums out right now that she hasn't been able to go on tour with.
Yeah.
I would die for a ticket to that.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to sacrifice like a limb. Listen, if I'm willing to do a lot. I mean, I would
Bitsy is willing to donate her kidney to go to the Taylor Swift concert.
I would be willing to donate. I mean, do they want my blood? Do they want my bone marrow?
Oh. No, that's helpful.
Do they want part of my brain?
Oh, I don't think you should do that.
Like a little piece. Like
how much?
One fold.
Like 1 gram of brain.
Like just a little.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do with it. I'm going to donate as much as I can and put it in one big box. One box. And sell that. And I'd love to just sell it. On the black market? I'd love to just sell it to Taylor Swift herself.
Oh.
She can take my body.
Yeah.
She can take parts of me that I gave away, and she can take it. And the best part about it is that then she'll just give me tickets because she'll feel bad.
Yeah.
Because if she does, I'm going to blackmail her. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to donate. I'm going to take like a kidney. I'm going to take part of my liver, part of my brain.
Yeah.
Plasma, blood, whatever they want. People want. I don't know what people want on the black market. I'm going to put it all in a little cooler. And I'm going to deliver it to Taylor Swift. And I'm going to be like, hey, buddy.
That sounds...
Touch this cooler. And she's going to touch it.
Yeah.
And her fingerprints are going to be on it. And I'm like, guess what?
Evidence.
Those are my body parts. If you don't give me tickets to your concert, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to frame you for being on the black market.
Yeah.
How many tickets could I get out of that? 3? Like 3 front pit tickets. I want pit tickets. At Gillette 2024 whenever she goes on tour. That's what I'm gonna do. And if I have any extra tickets, you're coming.
Oh, good.
You can come if you want.
Thanks, Bitsy.
Yeah. And maybe I might steal one of her cats in the process.
Yeah.
I don't know. Meredith's pretty cute. Anyways, we're gonna stop talking about Taylor Swift.
If you like want to get into classical and like you kind of want to make it fun, watch them because they're fun.
I think I'm gonna.
Yeah.
They look like funny.
Oh, they're so funny.
And they have so many videos.
Oh yeah.
And I love when they do like people are able to post as much as they can, so you get as much content, especially for something like that where they know that they're catering towards a smaller audience, but they want to make it broad.
Yes.
And have so many options to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch them.
Good.
And I think everyone else should probably watch them too.
You should watch Two Set Violin. I'm plugging their YouTube channel right now.
Finally going to be playing your quartet compositions.
listen to her. So is Ray Chen, also a violinist. And
Yeah.
there's also this really popular YouTube channel called Two Set Violin, and they really cater towards like making classical music accessible to like people.
What's it called?
Two Set Violin.
So just a little more background.
Yeah.
Are both of your parents from Japan?
Yes.
Okay.
I am Japanese.
You are.
In case you didn't know.
Congratulations. It's your birthday. Congrats.
Yay.
In case anybody else didn't know, I guess.
Yeah.
Yukio
That's
is
more
from...
who I was talking to, not you, Bitsy.
Oh, no, I didn't know anything. I don't know. Maybe you're not. Yukio is Japanese.
Yeah.
And I've talked to Yukio sometimes about Japan.
Yeah.
I've also talked to Andy about Japan because I think that I'm going to hijack one of your families to go because I really would love to
how
go
many
to Japan.
people have said that to me? It's
Yeah.
I will be sneaking into your suitcase. Like a lot of people.
And the only real reason, well, there's more than one reason. I feel like I feel like a lot of what I see online, and I could be very wrong.
Yeah.
Is it's just so culturally different.
Oh.
That's why I would like to go.
Yes.
Because it's not, my favorite place I've ever been to probably is Ireland, just because it was like the most like beautiful place I've been able to see. And I also love Puerto Rico too. There were cats everywhere. I love them. They're so cute. But I feel like Japan is, first of all, it's so far away.
Yes. I think it's like the farthest you can get.
Which
from,
is like
here.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
And also just, it's so different.
Yeah.
That like it's so much more of an experience. Like so many people want to go to goddamn Australia, and like I get it.
That's true.
I get it.
Yeah.
And most people only go to Australia once in their life.
Yeah.
You don't really go to Australia like 5 times.
Yeah.
Except if you do. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe there's people out there
Maybe
who've been to Australia 100 times. I don't know. But I feel like with Japan, it's very much, for me, I'd probably end up going once in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, it's like a bucket list item for sure.
Yeah.
And the culture's different. And
Yes.
also, I'm very interested in the food because I'm very much someone who eats, I could eat any type of food.
Yeah.
I'm not like, there's a few things that gross me out.
Yeah. There will be things that gross you out.
And that's okay.
In Japan.
I'm not someone who normally would be like upset or like distraught about something that seems gross. If you don't eat it yet, if you don't like something, you can't get mad at someone for not liking something.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'd love to go. Getting back to the culture thing is I feel like the music,
Yeah.
the little I know about it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can inform me.
Okay.
A lot of it's so like upbeat to me. Like it seems a little bit more poppy than I thought.
Okay, yeah. So, I think when like a lot of people think about Japanese music, it is like that pop, that like electric kind of music.
That's what I think about.
That's what most people think about. So I think you're in the majority here. And like I think a lot of that has to stem from like boy group and girl group culture in Japan, like so in America there was like NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys, and like that kind of died out. There's not any groups like that in America that's popular. But in Japan, and like if you've also heard of like K-pop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like K-pop and J-pop, like boy and girl group culture, are kind of similar in that like there's like singing and dancing happening at the same time. And I think like that type of culture is super present still in Japan, and like one of the most really popular groups in Japan are like those types of boy and girl groups. And there's this one company that I like to make fun of. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do it. We shame everyone here.
Before I make fun of them, like to preface this, they really honestly have made like a really big impact to like Japanese music. And so like, they've done a lot, but there's this one company called Johnny's and Associates. Instead of like getting popular, I don't know, like it's just like a different way to like get famous.
This is very so explain it more, because I looked it up, and like this is very much what I would consider like an industry based.
Yes, it's so industry based, and it's like they take people, or like teens, they like bring them into the company, they train them how to sing and dance. So like you have no like experience of singing and dancing prior to like becoming like what they call an idol, and it's like you basically learn how to be a singer instead of like having previous talent. And so like they basically like this Johnny's is like basically almost has like a monopoly on the boy groups in Japan. It's really funny.
It looks like it.
And so like I'd say one of the most popular, or like I think they disbanded already, but like within the past like decade or so, I think they like debuted in 1990 or something. There's this group called Arashi, and they're super famous. They're like one of the most famous groups that I think came out of Japan. And that company, yeah, they're just like a singing, dancing thing. And like the Johnny's and Associates, they just start like producing these boy groups that are like, there's so many, like, and the reasons why it's called Johnny's and Associates is because there's this guy named Johnny who basically, I think he's Japanese American, but I could be wrong, but he lived in America for a little bit, and then I think he's one of the first people that thought of this idea of having people sing and dance at the same time, and that's like the thing way back when. Like he created his first group called the Johnnies, like that's what they were called.
That's a bad name.
I will talk about names in a second because I think a lot of Japanese like group names are really funny, and he basically like has produced like so many groups since then. Like I have this list. There's Heisei Jump, Katoon, Kanjani, which is basically, there's a region in Japan called Kansai, and Jani, like it's just, and then Hikaru Genji, SMAP, Kinky Kids. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Johnny, buddy.
And like I feel like the more recent ones are Snowman, Stones, which is spelled 6 tones, but you say stones. I don't know.
That's like irritating a little bit. Yeah.
And King and Prince, and like but a lot of there's one, I forget which one it was. It might have been Kinky. I think there's one called Hi Jets where they roller skate as their like that's their whole shtick is they roller skate while they sing. And then
I'd be down to
there's
join.
also like Snowman does a lot of like flips, like they like tumble in their performances. But like it's really funny how like all of these groups come from Johnny and Associates. They're all Johnny's groups, and so like it's just, I've never like heard of like one company having such like a monopoly over like these groups, and it's just really,
because it's so like, it seems very like, the idea is very familiar to me, not in music, but in like just the culture of, I guess, like just mass producing like people who could be famous or be talented. Like it's not, and I don't really know why it's like, when I looked it up, like I immediately knew what it was, because I've never heard of Johnny and Associates, but to me it seems very much like it's like, it's basically just mass production of
it totally
these
is.
bands and these groups, and out of people, like it's like, I don't know if you know, this is so bad that I know this because I'm like overall like a One Direction, like I don't like One Direction. I'm not like a hater, but I don't like them. But it's a little bit like that in the way that like they were X Factor, but they were all separate, and then they were brought together. So I feel like in that sense, that's the closest thing it gets
that does
to a band that's any more familiar to me or anybody else here in America, because I also think that like the sizes of these groups.
Oh my god!
I don't know. I've watched a few like randomly. I've been on like the YouTube interwebs, and like you look at BTS.
Holy crap!
And I know they're K-pop. So it's not the same thing. But the amount of people in that band, like you don't realize until you see them on a talk show, and you're like, there's like 7 or 8 of them.
There's like, okay, so there's this there, I think there are there 7?
There's BTS? A lot of them.
But
I don't know,
we're about to get like canceled by
we're
BTS army. Anyways,
we're gonna but that's a bad name too. Come up with something better.
What than army? Like
army, BTS army.
There's this actually one boy group that's not from Johnny and Associates that's like pretty popular. They're called Exile, and there's like Exile Tribe and Exile Generations or whatever. There's like a bunch of them. There's 19 of them or something.
How do you even do, like, how do you stay together? Like, how does everyone have a part?
I think what they do is they have like subgroups. So like there's like Exile Tribe, which is like, it's part of Exile, but it's like there's these people that are part of Tribe, and these people that are part of the Generations group, and like they have like smaller groups that they do. Probably
so many people,
like there's a lot of people on that. And like there's kind of like the girl group equivalent to like the Johnny's like whole thing is, if you've ever heard of the AKB48 franchise, it's like there's this one again, there's like a guy that produces this, but there's this one guy who decided, I'm gonna make a girl group that sings and dances. And so AKB48 there's so many of them, like you could not believe how many freaking people there are. But
oh my god,
I'm serious. Like, do you see this? Like,
yeah, I'm looking.
But
so,
like, that's like AKB48 is like one of the subgroups of the entire franchise. So that like AKB48, AKB stands for Akihabara, which is a place in Tokyo. So like that's the region. I'm not sure what 48 is because it's definitely not the number of members, because I think there's more than that, but I could be lying. There's like NMB 48, which is there's like so many.
There's 48 members.
There is 48 members per thing.
But whose ranks have since swelted.
Yeah, no,
to a staggering 140.
No, see, isn't there more?
They maintain their own theater and perform to their fans every single night.
I don't think.
What am I reading?
I don't know. But like, there's like there's AKB48, but there's also like NMB48 and like something, like there's so many like sister groups that they like to call it, that are like they're kind of like part of the AKB48 like franchise, but like they're just the different regions. And so they also created, that I like kind of recently found out, a completely separate group. It's not the 48 franchise, but it's now the 46 franchise. And the thing is, the same guy created this group, and I thought a different person created it to be like a competitor of the 48 franchise, but it's the same dude that made this group. And like it's called like Nogizaka 46, and there's also like 10 of those groups that are 46 franchise and not 48.
One thing that's funny to me, which I think is the same here, probably. I mean, we don't have something like Johnny and Associates, and we don't have some one person creating, but we have producers. Yes. Which can be a similar situation. Yeah. They're all men.
They are all men.
And it's kind of like...
We should talk about that.
We can.
Guys.
It's kind of gross.
It is
with
gross.
the girl one.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have
even
a member
with the boy one? Because they're like teens and preteens and like...
Like the whole idea of Johnny and Associates and the whole idea of having like it's basically a production company.
Yes.
Is kind of gross.
It is kind of gross.
Because you're like taking these kids who obviously probably want to do it.
Yeah.
Like let's be honest.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't. It doesn't matter.
They probably do.
And you're making them into everything that already happens. Like, and if you think about it, they're all going to end up being the same anyways, even if they're popular. You know what I mean? Even if these bands become really popular, they're going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Because they're coming from the same place.
Yeah.
And they're all run by the same guy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't understand like really the difference.
So it's like the same thing.
Somehow they're like all like super popular though, because I think like Nogizaka 46 is like at the top of like the chart in Japan right now for like one of the songs that they recently released, but like they're all still somehow like crazy popular.
I'm looking up the Japanese top 50.
I actually also like looked at one of the charts to like get an idea, but like one thing I realized is that like a lot of people in Japan like also listen to K-pop, cause like they just do. I
mean, it's weird because you look at a chart, because then I bet if you look at anybody, I bet nobody else's country. Yeah. I mean, except for maybe a small one or something that I'm forgetting. Mm-hmm. But I bet not a lot of countries have these bands in their top charts. Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with the US. Mm-hmm. And like the US and Japan can be similar in that way, that they both have kind of strong, they have a little bit more power on other little places that's around them.
That makes sense, yeah.
And I mean, we don't have a country that's small around us, but like there's countries in Europe, maybe even Asia, I'm not 100% sure, but I know that there's countries in Europe that have our songs in their top. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it happens all the time, and it's more common, but like you don't see like a Portuguese singer.
Yeah, that's so true.
Has a top hit from us. Yeah. The last time you saw anything like that was Despacito, and that was it. Yeah. It wasn't even the last time. It was probably one of the first times. Yeah. You know what I mean? Exactly. Or some type of Latin music maybe. Yeah. But like you don't see it often. Right. And I think K-pop was big here. Yeah. And I think it made a lot of like moves because they were top of our charts.
That's true.
And I think if you take everyone in a culture sense, and I'm not saying the United States is like the most powerful thing, but they're probably one of the top 3 popular countries.
No, I totally agree.
Popular places.
Yeah.
So when we have a cultural thing, music, and another country decides or like happens to have one of their songs become popular here, it's a huge deal.
It is.
And I think that's one of the reasons that K-pop might be as like popular as it is. I know we're not talking about K-pop, but any type of music, like if a Japanese band, one of those groups, was to have like a top hit that was near our 100 top.
Yeah.
It would be insane.
It would be.
And it would probably make it a little more popular there, even though it was here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing too is it as common to see a solo artist or no?
In Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I think, yes.
Okay.
There are the groups that I just mentioned, but I don't listen to them a lot, to be honest. But, like, there are plenty of other solo artists that are popular. Yeah. Because
I know that here, I mean, most of what I listen to a lot of small bands. Yeah. And then tons and tons of solo artists. Mm-hmm. Even the bands I listen to, usually their lead singer is a solo artist themselves, and I probably listen to them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't even know what a good example is. I mean, the Beatles is a good example for a lot of people. Yeah. And then even Bon Iver, that's technically a band. So I listen to Justin Vernon, I guess, separately. Mm-hmm. The Lumineers doesn't do it. Rainbow Kitten Surprise doesn't do it. That's a new band I listen to. Oh my god.
Rainbow Kitten Surprise?
Yeah, it's a band.
Oh
my god, yeah. I'm gonna do an episode maybe on them. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, they're a great band and they have a great name. Yeah. They should help name some of the Japanese bands. Oh my god, yeah. With a name like Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
Wait, no, there's like I was gonna make fun of some names of bands.
Go for
There's one called Bump of Chicken.
Like what? Why?
There's like Da Pump.
That sounds like it could be here. Like that could fly here. It'd
no,
be like
they
cool.
have. Oh my god, they have a song that's like literally just like USA propaganda. I swear, like it's just them screaming USA. They're a Japanese band and they're like screaming USA in the chorus, and it's like I can't. It's so funny.
Again, like I think that literally comes back to like popular thing.
There's also a band called like Sexy Zone. There's one called Kiss My Feet 2, and there's no Kiss My Feet 1. It's just Kiss My Feet 2 for some reason.
Where's one?
I don't know.
Is it like, see, that's awful because then it's like Kiss My Feet 2. Like,
yeah.
Also do that.
Like, also.
I don't, like, Johnny and Associates should get cracking on they should get like a name generator and bust that thing.
I think that's what they do is they just like press the button a bunch of times and that's the next name.
AI coming up with names. They're like plugging in their names and they're like come up with names and it's like that. Yeah. How? Come up with something more original. Or maybe make your band smaller and don't like make kids an object. Yeah. That's literally what they're doing.
It is though. And like there's like a TV program that's just like I think it's like the not debuted yet Johnny's like trainees. Yeah. There's like a TV show where they like sing and like my parents like bought the Japanese TV channel so that we could watch the Japanese TV here. And like we don't have an option to like change the Japanese TV. It's like one channel and they like show us whatever they want. And so some of the time they play like that's the channel that's on and it's just a bunch of like prepubescent teens that are just like singing
and dancing.
Yeah. And I'm just like I'm like questioning a little bit because I'm just
like as you should. Yeah. Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I mean we can act like we don't do it here, but we do.
Yeah. That's true.
Like there's so many reality TV shows with kids in it. Dance Moms. I didn't watch Dance Moms.
I did.
I wish. Oh my god, you did?
Dance Moms.
I wish. What's your stance on JoJo Siwa? Go.
What do you mean? Oh my god, Nickelodeon, what the heck are they doing? They should have invited her to the Teen Choice Awards. Yeah. That's upsetting. I'm upset for JoJo right now. JoJo's a queen.
Well, exactly. Maybe they're against the queers.
They are against the queers. That's so evident.
I think that's stupid. I agree with you. And I used to watch the Teen Choice Awards. It was great.
It's a okay. So Kiss My Feet too is also a rollerblading thing, and
man,
is
no.
Hikaru Genji. Roller skate.
Roller skate.
Skate.
Okay. So they're like a little more retro.
Yeah.
Roller
like-
blades are like, I'm gonna go play hockey outside,
Yeah,
like street
yeah.
hockey. You know, I'm an athlete.
like,
Roller blades are like cool.
Yeah, I've seen them on one of like the music programs that like gets on the Japanese TV channels, and they like spin. They like do the whole thing.
I bet they do.
It's really fun.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up with one last question, and you're gonna tell me on the spot. What are 6 songs, Japanese cultured songs, you'd like me to add to our Q Anonymous playlist?
Okay.
I'm gonna write them down.
All right. I mean, there's a lot of artists that I didn't mention, like the solo artists, or like there's a lot like band culture in Japan is super big.
Yeah.
Still, like I feel like a lot of artists here are like kind of on like the computer generated music, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But like there's still a lot of like band type of music in
Okay.
Japan, and I really enjoy that. And there's this one band called sorry, the official Hige Dandism. I'm sorry. It's
Okay.
usually shortened to Higedan.
Okay.
For like and I think I like their song Pretender.
Okay.
It's a good song. I think they're like rock based.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also there's a solo artist, his name is Fuji Kaze.
I looked him up.
I really love him so much.
Such a
hard-
good name.
It is because Kaze means wind.
Really?
It's fun. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
してしまったものを振り返ってほろり時には途方に暮れてただ風に吹かれてゆらり行き過ぎてきたの
It's hard to pick one song to be honest, but I think I like
You
there's
can
this
pick more than one. You got 6. You got
I
6
got
spots.
6. There's this one song called Nan Nan.
Okay.
I don't know if that's romanized as well, but there's another solo artist called Yonezu Kenshi.
Okay.
He had a really big hit song in 2018 and it was everywhere. It's still everywhere. It's called Lemon, but that's like a classic that like most Japanese people probably know that song.
Yeah.
But I think it's really good too.
Okay.
There's also, do you know what Vocaloid is?
No, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, this might be another tangent, but like Vocaloid culture in Japan is like very present. It's basically like machines making, so like there's a person singing usually, and then you
Yeah.
like alter that alter your voice with like computers.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a type of Vocaloid where it's like completely computer generated, where it's like there's this voice that's just made by a computer. So like, have you heard of Hatsune Miku?
No.
Most people have.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like. But you know, like there's like this girl, she has teal hair and she has like 2 pigtails.
Oh my god, yeah, I do know.
Yeah. She's a Vocaloid.
Okay.
Like she's just a machine.
Yeah.
And, like I don't listen to that, but like that's like super popular. But there
That's
are
strange.
artists that like sing and then alter their voice instead of like having the
Right.
entire computer thing. But there's this really popular pop duo that I think got popular in like 2020, and like they had their debut song was like is still like one of the most popular songs like right now. It's called Yoru ni Kakeru.
I'm not going to try to spell that.
Yeah, no, I'll just send it to you later.
Okay. I have 2 of them.
I think, I mean, actually there's an English version and it's like super weird because she like took words that sound like the original version, but like it's in English. It's called, it's the same song. It's Racing Into the Night.
I can
It's
write
the
that
same
down so we
song.
can remember. Yeah.
But I think she alters the voice,
Okay.
but it's like her voice. And then the guy is like the keyboardist, I think.
Nice.
And so,
Keyboardist?
keyboardist. There's also other Vocaloid people. I'm not sure. I think Eve is really popular. I'm not going to try to remember one of his song titles right now because it's like Yoru wa Hanoka or something, and I don't want to make you spell that. And there's like...
Do you want to add that?
Maybe.
Okay.
I like that song.
Okay,
But,
we can add that.
There's like...
You have one more, I think.
Okay. Oh.
Come up with a good one.
I mean, I feel like I can't not mention Gen Hoshino.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of popular songs in Japan come from like the OSTs, like the opening songs to like dramas,
Yeah.
animes, and like just TV shows and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like a lot of songs that are popular are just like because they are part of like a show or whatever. And so he made like a couple of songs that are like that were like drama openings, and I don't think this one is a drama opening, but it was a commercial for like Nintendo or something.
Oh man.
And it's called Create.
Okay.
And it's really funny because the song uses samples from like Nintendo games. So like the GameCube, the GameCube, like
yeah.
that's in the song. Like the Mario jump is in the song. And I think like if people like games or like they think that's funny, like that's a fun song to listen to.
Yeah. That could be a good one.
It's so fun. I love that song.
Oh my god.
Like yeah, he's pretty popular as well.
Yeah.
But to mention like some other artists that I didn't, there's Zutto Mayo, which is like I just found out that that's not a single person. It's like a group.
Isn't it weird when you find that out?
Yeah. So that's not a person. It's
Yeah.
like an anonymous like group, I think. But like they like haven't revealed who the members are. So like they're just like, and like each song is produced by like a different person. So like they're super like in the dark about things.
In the dark.
There's actually like this really big culture in Japan of like artists being like anonymous. Zutamayo, Ado, Yama, Eve, like they're all anonymous, or like people don't know what they look like. And so like I feel like a lot of them, they have like masks, or I think Yama like wears a mask to like cover her face or their face. I don't know.
It's interesting because it's almost like you don't want to be as famous as.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's interesting.
I think there's just so much about like just I guess Japanese music because it's just so different, and it's
Right.
very like there's similarities to what a lot of people here listen to with like the pop culture stuff,
Yeah.
but like the band stuff and the
Yeah.
Johnny Associates. So it's just interesting, I guess, to talk about because
Yeah.
it's a different view, and like that the few songs that I'm gonna have are gonna be very different than all the other songs I compile from everybody else, because it's just gonna be like we're gonna get some classical ones in there.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get your Japanese ones, and they're probably gonna go next to each other, so it's gonna be like bam, 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 hit. Like what?
Oh yeah,
so
that's
different.
Gonna be really
it's gonna be
confusing.
good. It's gonna be okay. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on. This
Yeah.
was so fun.
Thank you for having me.
This has been my second episode of Q Anonymous with Yukiho.